You know, I really wish I had a better cold open plan for you guys for this episode, but I really don't. So, you know, hit my music! I ain't afraid of no rant. Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Wave channel. Welcome to another video. This is definitely, we're doing this review again. It's been a while. It has been a minute since I stepped back on my lap in front of my microphone and been talking about The Walking Dead. Now, this subside, of course, is the Walking Dead discussion videos I've been doing live on YouTube. But now, we are back doing some reviews. So, this is your Walking Dead review. Season 9, Episode 3. I don't know what the hell this episode was called. Honestly and truly, I don't know, and I don't care. This was a, I mean, it was slow. Not much really happened. They didn't really advance too much. Watching my grandmother. I mean, something happened at the end. I'll get into the bases, you know, get my thoughts and opinions on what's going on. A few things happened that were noteworthy. Other than that, you ain't missed much. So let's start off the episode. So the episode starts off with walkers eating some dude because they had to remind us that walkers are actually a thing in this show. You know, if you had not watched this show week to week and you watched it every other week, or you tuned in sporadically, you would have thought that there were no walkers left. I swear, I feel like walkers aren't even a thing on this show anymore. And we find out that the dude being eaten, because the walkers are eating someone, so we found out the dude's being eaten is actually the guy that died in the last episode, one of the saviors that died in the last episode. And he walks across a sign saying, "Final warning," as we cue the intro to the show. Then the show starts off, it's Rick and Judith. And seeing Judith grown, I mean, Judith ain't no, like, 14-year-old, she ain't Clementine, but seeing Judith, like, walking and, not talking, but, like, walking, is just weird. Because Judith has been like a baby since like season goddamn 4. Season 4, she's been a itty bitty baby. It took 5 seasons for her to finally start walking. 5 whole years. Rick goes back to his season 4 roots in this episode. He went over to the Hilltop farm and picked a tomato. I said, "Oh Lord, no." Nah, Farmer Rick. That was probably some of the worst of season 4 was Farmer Rick. And all those episodes of Rick out in the prison farm, always trying to be nice, and yeah, I hated Farmer Rick. That's the Rick that got my mother hating Rick. Like, she used to always hate him, but as soon as he became yeah, she turned on him. She actually said that she's going to tune in to the 5th episode just to watch Rick die, but you know, ain't here for me. Anyway, he gets tomato, puts it on someone's grave. We assume it's Carl's grave. Well, I assume it's Carl's grave. Rick and Michonne, they have some words. They're like, "We should plan for our future." And Rick says, "Well, I'm thinking about planning for the future right now." And I said, this season is, we begin a lot of, not like a big abundance like American Horror Story levels of sex, but we begin some frisky scenes this season. You know, the first episode, Rick and Michonne were making out for a long period, and they were starting to mess around a bit before they cut away. Then in the last episode, at the very end, you had Jadis and Father Gabriel kissing. Then she started unbuckling his pants. I'm like, listen, all she needed to do was whip it out. I was almost concerned that she would have whipped it out, but you know what? So we've been getting a lot of friskiness lately on The Walking Dead, and I'm not opposed to it. It's just weird, because I'm not used to seeing that. Not used to seeing all that, you know. He says, "Let's plan for the future." And I immediately said, "No! There's enough goddamn kids and babies on this show. You do not need any more kids. No more babies, none of that. If they are over the age of 14, if you are under the age of 13, stay your little ass somewhere else. I'm so tired of all these damn kids that Carol got ended up taking care of and then killing later on. Like, no. Keep them away." So yeah, they getting frisky. They're about to try for a kid, which that's not going to end well. I think Michelle's going to end up pregnant, so that's going to be awesome, I guess. She's going to be the new Maggie of the show for the next 4 seasons. Anyway, so then speaking of Maggie, speaking of the devil, she shall appear. So then we get to the next scene. Maggie's with a new Glenn. I don't know who the hell this guy is, but it's another Asian dude.
And I said, oh shit, Maggie and I moved on quickly, but it's been like 2.5 years, so I guess she had to move on at some point. She's like, you know, maybe she's only satisfied about that Asian dick. I don't know. So they were riding down the carriage. Next thing you know, they're cut off by some saviors. A guy comes in, cuts them off, starts talking smack. And Maggie's like, what's your name? And he's like, my name is Mud. And I said, wow, your parents must have hated you. And then some girl in a distance said his name is Jed, and, you know, take it easy on him. He takes a tomato. There's a lot of tomatoes in this damn episode. He takes a tomato from the carriage that Maggie was delivering to, I believe, either the saviors or back to the home base. And he ate one of them right in Maggie's face. Ate it right all up in her face. And I said, Maggie, you should drop his ass right then and there. Before I get into that, let me just say, whoever started writing for Maggie needs a goddamn raise. Maggie has literally become probably the centerfold of this season is Maggie. She is the best part of the entire season. I don't care what anybody says. Like, legit. Like, the first episode, she stood up to Rick. She grew a pair of balls. She killed Gregory. Then the last episode, she was telling people off. She was like, this is how it is. This is what they do. I'm like, yo, I don't know where Maggie got these balls from, but she can't exchange them. She got to keep them. Drop them down low if she needs to. Listen, Maggie is just on a roll. I'm so on board with this Maggie. You know, I was a little bit iffy last season on what they gonna have her do, but I was on board when she turned heel and said she was going to go against Rick. Now we're seeing it's going to fruition. I sure the hell hope they sign Laura Cohan on, because she leaves the show where she dies like Rick does. It's gonna be very upsetting. I don't know if I could take Rick and Maggie going. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could, because like if Rick's gonna die, Maggie taking over, I will completely accept that at this point. Like, I will completely accept that. These 3 episodes have really sold me on Maggie as a leader. She's proved to me in 3 episodes that she is deserving of it. It takes some characters several seasons to prove themselves. It took her 3. So yeah, I would not be mad at all if she took over when Rick dies. But I think it's going to end up being Negan. But oh wait, I'll say that for another episode. For another video. Anyway, Maggie says she's going to dock him for it. I was like, God damn it, Maggie. Should have dropped him. Should have dropped him, not Doc him. We cue some scenes with Rick, Judith, and Michonne, and they're playing around. I think it's really cute. They had these scenes in there. It was cute up until a savior or someone came up and informed Rick that hey, one of the saviors got taken out, and then he springs to action. Then we get into the next scene. We got the Saviors and the Hilltop people arguing. Why the fuck is this every episode? The Saviors and the Hilltop are I get it. Dissension between the groups. But every goddamn episode you need to repeat the same formula. Because he did just that. They start arguing. Daryl's like, hey, cut it out. And they're like, fuck you. And so this time they grab weapons. And they're about to go to town on Daryl and Carol. Jadis is out there in the corner looking all fucking stupid. And then Rick comes in like, hey, everybody chill out and go back to your bases. And then they do. I'm like, this happened last week and the week before. I'm like, really? You couldn't have come up with any other different sequence of that happening than the exact same scene I saw 2 weeks ago? I know it's only the 3rd time, but if it happened the 3rd time, that means it happened the 4th time. And the 5th time, and I know The Walking Dead, and I know once they find something that works, they're going to keep using it. Just different times, very spaced out. So let's make sure we change it up a bit. Maybe Oceanside is it this time, or so, don't even do it again. I don't know. We'll get to Oceanside later. That kind of shocked me, but I don't know how to feel about it. We get quite a bit of jibber jabber from everybody. Maggie and Rick, they were jibber jabbering. Father Gabriel Jadis, they were talking it out. Rick and Daryl, there was a barrage of scenes here where people were talking, and I just could not give 2 shits what was happening. I'm sure something important might have been said, but I didn't care. So now we got Maggie, and I don't know what the girl's name is. This is another problem The Walking Dead has right now. I said this last season, I will say it again. There are too many characters. Too many. I said this last season. You have the Hilltop. You have Alexandria. Then you have the Saviors. Then you have this group. And now you got the Junkyard Babies, I called them. That's like 4 groups. Then Oceanside. That's like 5 groups. So you mean to tell me there's like... And let's take account there's probably like 10 plus people on each side. So 5 times 10 is what? What's 5 times 10? That's 50. Yes, I know. But they don't show all 50. That's not the fucking point. That's not the fucking point. The point is, I gotta remember all of these goddamn character names, and then every time they pop up, because let me tell you, it's showing this season that they have too many characters, because there were a lot of characters in this episode I didn't even see. I didn't see Tara in this episode. I didn't see Ezekiel in this episode. I didn't see Eugene in this episode. I didn't see a few people in this episode. And you know why? Because everybody can't get airtime. Which means you gotta cut some of the meat off the bone. So, I don't know if you gotta put one group on a bus and have that bus go down I-95 and just kamikaze that bus. I don't know what you gotta do, but you gotta cut some of the weight off of this show. There's too many people here. The girl from Oceanside, I don't even know the bitch's name, honestly. Bitch. I don't even know the girl's name, honestly. Like, they mentioned it in season 7. She showed up once last season. I do not know her name. I've been calling her Oceanside since the dawn of time, and I'm gonna keep calling her Oceanside. So Maggie and Oceanside go to a house, like a desolate house. They're gonna clear it out, and Oceanside ends up getting caught in one of the floorboards of the house. We get a fake out scene here where, you know, they fall through. Oh my god, walkers are coming. Oh, they could die. They're not gonna die. So Maggie comes in, tries to save them, and then Rick, Rosita, and Daryl come in for the save. Yeah, Rosita showed up for like 10 seconds, which is great. That's good. That's good. If Rosita showed up maybe 9 seconds less in this episode, I would have been pretty happy. But, you know, 10 seconds, I guess, is enough for her. Then in the midst of this, we find out that someone abducted a rat. Oh, yeah, a rat. Her name is Arat. I mean, I think it's Arat or something. Listen, her name is spelled A-R-A-T. That shit is Arat. You wanna know what that is? That's Tara backwards. Fucking laziness. Tara First of all, let me just say, Tara gets on my goddamn nerves, so I was really happy that she was not in this episode. And if she was, I was not paying attention, or my mind just immediately blocked her out of it because I dislike her now. But the fact that you have a character with another character's name spelled backwards just shows that you're just creating characters for the sake of creating characters, and you need to cut the weight once again. I know she's been in there since like season 7, but I still didn't understand why she was there then. Should have died. Anyway, so they find out she's missing. Maggie and Daryl get some talking scenes, but it ain't really much. So then we get Jadis and Father Gabriel, and they actually got something going on here that I had to take note of. So Jadis goes back to her junkyard. Now, because y'all remember, the Saviors last season took over the junkyard area and killed everybody except for Jadis, who kind of played dead. So she goes back there. She goes in this little cabinet thing found in all the rubble she has, because it's one big junkyard. She goes in there. She pulls out a walkie. Now, this walkie is very, I don't want to say high-tech, but it's very different looking than all the other walkies we see Rick and the Hilltop have. This is a completely different walkie. And I said, she about to talk to somebody from a whole nother group. She calls him over, and she says something along the lines of, hey, I know you guys are in range because I saw the helicopter. Because I think last episode we saw the helicopter again. And we know Jadis is connected to it somehow. We saw this last season. She was connected to the helicopter because she knew about it. And the guy on radio was like, is it range A? Is it A or B? And I guess this is meaning like, are you alone or are you with someone? She's like, I'm alone. And they're talking, and I don't remember exactly what they said because my mind the entire time, for all the comic book fans out there, my mind instantly went to, she's talking to the Commonwealth, I think. She's talking to somebody from the goddamn Commonwealth. If you don't know what that is, it's very later on in the comic series. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but I think she's talking about someone from the Commonwealth. And if she's talking to someone else, I would think it's that Georgie girl, but it was a guy's voice, so maybe she knows the guy. I don't know. But my thing is, you got 2 potential groups you could be talking to. Please don't introduce another group. I don't need any more groups than what we already have. We already have 5. That's integrated into one. Please. Please. No more characters. I'm done trying to learn new names. I mean, we're going to have to be forced to learn these new names that come along here, but still. Anyway, so Jadis is like, yeah, I'm alone, and they're talking amongst each other, and then next thing you know, fucking weirdo Father Gabriel followed her ass to the... First of all, let me just say, they had a scene earlier, and Father Gabriel was like, well, we kissed, you know, and I never felt this way before. You know, Father Gabriel all up in his feelings, got all the jitteries, all the butterflies. So, him following her to this compound, to her old compound, was just like, what the fuck, Father Gabriel? This is like this is how people get cock blocked. This is exactly how he ain't never gonna get that again. Father Gabriel's like, well, who are you talking to? What are you talking about? First of all, she should have said none of your goddamn business, but she had to explain herself to him at that point. And she was like, well, it's a long story, but I've basically been trading with them. And he's like, well, trading what? And she's like, people. And I'm like, damn, she's been trading people. And she's like, well, is that why these people been missing? And she's like, no, I'm not linked to them. It's a long story. It's been going on for a while now. I give them people. They give us supplies. And Father Gabriel was like, no, you can't be doing this. How could you be doing this? Like, have you been doing this with our group or whatever? And it's very interesting to see what this is. They throwing son in there for Jadis. I thought she was getting lost in the mix. I was a little scared for her though. But they got something going on for her, so I'm a little bit happy. And something for Father Gabriel too. You know, he's been doing nothing for the past 4 seasons, so he got something going on finally. So she's like, no, please don't tell Rick. And Father Gabriel's like, well, I have to tell Rick. First thing I said was, snitch. This is a girl you're trying to get, you know, you're attracted to her, and you say, oh, I'm going to tell Rick. See, this is why Father Gabriel has been single this entire time. And he's going to continue to be. Go on, snitch on that. Anyway. So she's then convinced him, you know, I know this place. We can go here. We can settle that. We can leave the hilltop. We could settle down and we could escape. And we don't have to worry about the troubles anymore. We'll be safe here. And da da da. And I'm like, so if you know about this place, why didn't you already leave? Or why didn't you tell Rick about this place? Like, I'm like, this don't sound right. And then you can obviously see the look on her face like she is lying through her motherfucking teeth. I'm like, Father Gabriel, you better not believe this shit. And he's like, and he declines. And being a little snitch at the ass says, I'm going to go tell Rick. And Jadis clean knocks him out. And I said, well, you know what? You had it fucking coming. You should have kept your fucking mouth shut. He had no reason to come out and say, I'm going to tell Rick about da-da-da. Like, just shut up. You don't have to say that. Bet you, if he would have just kept to himself and said, okay, I understand, honey. You know, da-da-da, he would have got laid and he could have still told Rick and she wouldn't have known. Bet you that would have happened, but he wanted to be all stupid about it. Anyway, so next scene, Carol goes looking for a rat. And not an actual rat, the person. She goes looking for... Can I call her something else? Because her name is so annoying. She goes looking for backwards terror when the saviors come and they kind of shake her up. One of the guys captures her, puts a knife over her neck. Rick comes up from out of nowhere, holding them at gunpoint. And the guy is all mad, like, yeah, you're killing our people. We can't have this anymore. And Rick's like, you don't have to do this. Da 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 da. We can, you know, Rick Grime line. It's like, you don't have to do this. We can be together. You know, we can be a community. This is the new world and all that. You know what Rick says. You know how Rick speaks. I don't need to tell you exactly what he said because you can form whatever lines, monologue of what Rick said most likely is what he said. Carol, being the witty and very much innovative woman that she is, finds a way out of it. She gets some mini knife that she must have had in her wrist, her sleeve. And she stabs the guy right in the chest, and she gets them both down. And they're about to kill him, and the dude's like, just kill me. And they're like, no, you're like, what did they say? Like, their life is worth it, or something. They said something like, your life is worth it, or all lives matter. They did not say all lives matter, but that's basically what I got from here. They're like, all lives matter. We're not going to kill you. Which is ironic because the next scene contradicts it. But had nothing to do with them, so that's fine. So the episode ends with Maggie and Daryl. They're walking. They hear a bump in the night. They go over to see what's happening. And it's Oceanside. And not just the leader of Oceanside, but it's the whole group. Or at least a portion of the group, Oceanside. with a gun to backward Tara's head. And Oceanside comes clean that they were the ones that killed, what's the name? The guy who was in the last episode. So now Maggie's like, well, explain yourself. How could you do this? And Oceanside's like, well, the girl gives a monologue. It was actually kind of good. She basically rationalized why she's doing it, and it makes perfect sense. As soon as he said, because the saviors, I instantly went like, she's totally justified. Because you guys remember from that boring ass episode, season 7, episode 6, we meet Oceanside, and Tara is the one who met them, God forbid. We meet Oceanside, and they are telling Tara how the saviors came in and they killed all the men and all the boys and everyone. I think everyone over the age of 11 was kept alive. Anyone under age 11 had to die, even the little boys. And she killed my brother, she killed my this and that, she killed my boyfriend or my dad or something along those lines. She's like, she killed my this, she killed my that, she killed our people. Their people killed our people, and she's on the ground like, please, you don't understand. I was ordered to do it. This wasn't my opinion. I'm like, literally, you can't really defend yourself at this point. It's kind of over for you. Just shut up and take it. But she's kind of pleading, and then Oceanside says, well, I kind of learned. I'm only doing this because I saw you kill Gregory, and I'm like, don't drag Maggie like that. Don't drag Maggie like. Like, just because you saw Maggie kill Gregory doesn't mean your ass had to go and do this. Like, no, your ass been wanting to do that since they grouped up. Don't even try to drag Maggie like that. Don't throw her under the bus. Especially to her face, too. And Maggie's like, she didn't cry, but she's like, I influenced you? And she's like, oh, yeah, but bitch had it coming. That's basically what she said. And that's when a rat is basically on the ground begging and pleading, and Maggie, after hearing her story, she's like, what do I do here? Do I do what's right morally and tell them to stop, or do I turn my back and let them kill her? And Maggie, being the now badass that she is, turns her back, and Daryl, standing right next to her, turns her back too, and they start walking. The rat's on the ground crying as Oceanside kills her. And I said, God damn, Maggie. God damn. She's not wrong. Hey, listen, her rat had it coming. Just saying. Maggie turned her back. Good. I was going to be very upset if Maggie saved her. So I'm actually really glad. Maggie is just become the best character on the entire show right now. Like, Carol is still my all-time favorite character, but the entire season 9 is Maggie's show. Especially when Rick dies and it's going to be Maggie. Yeah. So the episode ends with Maggie and Daryl going off to see Negan. Or going off to meet or take their actions into their own hands with Negan. And that's how the episode ends. So all that being said, I mean, the episode was not too eventful, aside from those few things that happened that kind of are advancing the storyline. But it wasn't a must-see episode. That's obviously going to be episode 5, when Rick dies. We did get a bit of a teaser of what seems to be the setup for Rick dying, because you guys know how they like to drag deaths out. I guess Rick fell into a ditch or something. There's a walker down there from what I saw. I don't know. It looks like they set something up for a position where Rick could die. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it. I'm really, really curious about how they're going to do this. There's a lot of ways you could do this. There's a way you could do it where Rick is dead, gone, he will never come back. There's a way you could do it where, it's left up in the air of Rick's, whereabouts or whatever. There's many ways to go about this, but I think the best way to do it is just straight up kill him. Straight up kill him. Especially if he has no intentions on coming back. There's no reason to leave it up in the air. But anyway, thank you guys for listening in. Hope you guys tune in for the next episode review that I do. If I do the next episode. I mean, the episode is garbage. I'm not going to review it. But I'm most likely going to review it. So tell me what you guys think about this episode down below. All that jazz. I love you guys always. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.